Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with some factoring things, okay? And what we're looking for is the greatest common factor, or you'll hear me say GCF a lot, okay? Greatest common factor, all right? And remember with factoring, factoring is basically just um, distribution backwards, okay? So the first one we're going to do here is define the greatest common factor. Remember, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the largest number that will go into 18 and 24. And most of the time, you can just look at them and kind of run the numbers real quick and you can kind of figure it out. Like this one, the GCF for this is going to be 6, okay? Because that's the biggest number that's going to go into 18 and 24. All right. There's another couple of ways you can do this. Okay. You could do this like you can take 18 and you can prime factor it, which is going to give you 2 times 3 times 3. Okay. And you can prime factor 24, which is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay. And what do they share in common? Okay, well, they share 2's and they'll share some 3's. Okay, so your GCF here would be 2 times 3, which is going to give you 6. Okay, so looking at some other ones here, you've got find the greatest common factor for 98 and 147. Okay, well, the greatest common factor with this is going to be 49. Okay, but if you didn't know that, okay, what you could do is you could go ahead and prime factor 98. Okay, so 98 is going to prime factor into 2 times 7 times 7, and 147 is going to prime factor into 3 times 7 times 7. Okay, so your GCF here, well, this is what they share in common. Okay, so 7 times 7 is going to give you 49. Okay, and like for the next one here, you've got 48 and 73. All right, oh, sorry, 48, 72, and 120. So when I'm looking at these guys, remember, you're looking for the largest number that's going to go into them, okay? And the largest number that's going to go into these is going to be 24, okay? 24 goes in here twice, 24 will go in here 3 times, 24 will go in here 5 times, okay? But you can just prime factor them, okay, and kind of figure out what's gonna work once you've done this like we did before. Okay, now moving up to the variables. Okay, with the variables, all you need to do is you look at the variables. Okay, I got y to the 4th and y to the 9th. Okay, well, the GCF here is going to be y to the 4th. So what it is you're looking at the variable with the lowest exponent, okay? Because when you divide y to the 4th by y to the 4, you get 1. And when you divide this by y to the 4th, you'll get y to the 5th, okay? So you don't get any fractions, and that's what you want to do, okay? So when you're looking at these guys down here where you says, oh, I've got a squared b cubed c, and this is a to the 4th and b. Okay, remember, it's got to be common, so they both got to have it. Okay, so I'm looking at a squared and a to the 4th, so a squared is going to be the GCF for that. And I've got b to the 3rd and b, so b is going to be, b the first is the lowest one, and this is my GCF right here. Okay, this has c, but that doesn't. Okay, so it's not common. And so that's what you're going to get when you do that. Okay, all right, so moving on to the next bunch here. You've got these 3 terms, okay? And remember, this is just like just walking it on down the line a little bit. Okay, so all you're going to do is look at the coefficients here. I got 5, 10, 15. Well, you know it's going to be 5, okay, because 5 goes into all of those. All right, I got x squared, x, and x cubed, so it's going to be x. I got y cubed, y squared, so it's going to be y squared. Okay, and so this is my GCF. So it's pretty simple. Okay, the number is usually the thing that's going to take you the most time. Okay, so continuing on, how we use this is, like I told you in the beginning, we're just going to do distribution, but we're going to do it backwards. That's when we're going to factor. So you look at this expression here, and you say 12 and 8. Well, the GCF here is going to be 4. This has x, but that doesn't. Okay, so once I do that, I'm going to divide this, and I'll get 3x. Okay, minus 8 divided by 4 is going to be 2. Okay, I'm going to put a parenthesis around this, and then I'm going to put 4 out here in the front. This is my GCF, because when I multiply that back through, I want to get what I started with. Okay, so 12x minus 8, okay, and that's what we started with. Okay, so you don't really need an answer key for any of this. You just multiply it back and see if you get what you started with. So if you look at the next one here, coefficient here is 1 and 5, so nothing common there. So I got x to the 6th and x to the 4th. Okay, now remember, all I'm going to do is just cancel stuff. So cancel 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. It's going to leave you with x squared. Cancel 4 down here, 4 down there. It's just going to leave you with 5. Okay, and then just put x to the 4th out in the front, and you're done. All right, so let's do a couple more. All right, so let's look at this critter here. All right, you've got this guy and this guy. I need a number that's going to go into to both of these. Okay, so if you went ahead and prime factored them and did them like I showed you before, you'd say, okay, well, 7 is going to be prime factor there. Okay, and I'm looking at x squared and x cubed, so I'm looking at x squared. Okay, now once I've done that, okay, all I'm going to do is do the division part. Okay, so 7 is going to go in here 14 times. The x squareds cancel, and I get y. Minus 7 is going to go into that 8 times, and cancel 2 down here, 2 up there. It's going to leave you with x. Now just put 7x squared in the front, and you're good to go. Okay, let's do this one. Variables are really easy, okay, because I got a to the 5th, a to the 4th, a squared, so it's like a squared. I got b to the 3rd, b squared, so b squared, b squared, b squared. Okay, now just cancel stuff. So this is going to give me a cubed b minus a squared. The b squares cancel, and I've got a squared b squared over a squared b squared. Well, that's just going to be 1. Okay, and put what you're factoring out, just put it in the front. Okay, so now these two here, we're doing the same thing, but instead of just doing like factoring out a term, we can factor out an expression, kind of. Okay, so a plus 3 is common to both these guys. Okay, so if you divide both of them by a plus 3, that's going to give you a, because these cancel out. Okay, and this is going to give you minus 5. And I usually just put what I'm factoring out, I'll put it in the front. Okay, now when you multiply it back in, you'll get the same, but this is kind of an intermediate, this is kind of halfway factored for you, using something called factoring by grouping. Okay, and that's what we're going to do next on the next video. Okay, so same thing here. Okay, you know that m cubed minus 5 is your common factor here. Okay, and when you cancel these, you're left with p. Cancel these, you're just going to be left with 1. Okay, and then just put what you got factoring out here in the front, and you're done. Okay, so that's it for just factoring by grouping. Okay, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email or something, and we'll do some more. Okay, thanks.